Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Got a couple recap for you guys and potential as far as tomorrow, but just want to say thank you for your support and the follows that are coming in. Guys, I want to just say this. If you like the content that I'm giving, just share a like, go ahead and drop a comment and make sure you like the page. That's all I'm asking. And hit the subscribe button. With that, guys, I'm gonna jump into a couple things with you guys as far as what I'm seeing for the market. I already did Sunday signal. A couple things are happening out of Sunday signal as far as the Google call that I spoke about. Actually, Google call was last week. Um, but that potential I spoke about Google and the calls on Google as far as the potential of Google, which that alert went off I think today or yesterday. So that Google call played out. A couple of the calls are playing out and potential for tomorrow I'm definitely gonna go over. But guys, today we had CPI and tomorrow we're going to have news as well. So we want to make sure that we're prepared when we're talking about the market. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Make sure that you can see my screen as well. And with that, let's jump into the news as far as what we're seeing, guys. So today we had CPI and the CPI numbers. Um, the CPI numbers came in flat for the most part, but you had only this one negative number right here. But what I saw was a huge gap up with a potential of a comeback, a drop down. So we definitely took advantage of what we saw in the market today, being patient and not getting caught. A lot of times for traders, they want to jump into FOMO and just, all right, the stock is gapped up. We're gonna run, and they jump into calls, and then the whole day the market fall. And especially in options, you could lose your whole your whole account at that point if you're trading with your whole account at least, or just that whole trade in general. That trade can't come back, especially if you're doing like a spy zero DTE contract. So you have to be careful. Today I'm going to show you a recap as far as what we did as far as trades, but we looked at the CPI. Not didn't come out too favorably, but also you have right now, tomorrow we're going to have PPI. Now, what I've noticed when you have CPI and PPI follows the following day, you're going to have that same momentum coming. Whatever the day gives you on CPI is that same momentum you're going to get. So if we have a down day, then most likely tomorrow we'll have that down coming down as well, which plays into some of the trades that I've been talking about, right? Guys, if you're not already in my Discord, I have a free Discord that I give a lot of value in. Let me just share that right now. It's called Married to the Markets. Again, we do live call outs. I do live call outs every day. So, with that, you have people in here that are making money in the Discord. As you could see today, I talked about Google. So, we did Google calls and Meta puts, and I'm gonna go over those as well as far as people made money today in the Discord, right? So with that, guys, what I'm seeing are what I saw today as far as the Google setup, and then I'm gonna go over potential as what's happening as far as for the market itself. Now, I did get a signal. I don't trade more than 3 times for the day. 3 times is my max. Okay. Now, did I see other trades that I could potentially take today? Yes, but I did 2 trades and both trades were profitable. So I was done for the day. Okay. What you don't want to do is you don't want to overtrade. If you overtrade, you're going to give back something to the market. Okay. Or you're building up a habit to where you're going to give back to the market. Yeah, you might overtrade. You might put in, a few trades and you get a little bit here or there, but the bad habit that you're developing is to give back to the market, not to take from the market. Okay. So I don't trade no more than 3 times for the day. Now, Google gave me a signal right before market close as far as puts, but I didn't do anything. Okay. Again, I was done for the day. Anytime I get my Google signal, I normally do them. Okay. That's one trade that I said anytime it goes off, I normally do it. Now, today I got a call signal for Google. But what I didn't like on Google was it already gapped up on the day. So because it gapped up on the day, I waited. Okay. So we saw the gap up and it pushed up right away. And then we start coming back down. So instead of pushing up, I said, hey, listen, let's wait for the first 15 minute and then we can go ahead and take that to take it back to the upside once we saw a reversal. So we waited for this one to happen. Once we saw the candle come down, and we saw this candle, which is a hammer. Not necessarily. Some people will argue about the hammerhead or whatnot, but once I saw this right here, my target to come down was the 50% retracement line, which it was my reversal area, which it came down and test. It didn't exactly touch the blue line, but you could call it a test, right? We're gonna call it a test. So I pointed out in the group, I said, listen, we're creating a support level right here. So what I wanted to see was I wanted to see us close above this line and then right here and then come back down, test this line and break. Okay. So that happened this morning. As soon as this came down, test and break, we got in calls. Okay. So we were in calls right here, right? And we took the calls, and some people got out right here. Most of us got out right here. Okay. Most of us got out right here. If not, all of us should have got out right here because we was up about 20% right here, right? Or 15 or 20%. Then I kept some runners because I scaled out right here. I kept some runners and ended up closing out up here at the top at 35%. Now, if this had run straight up and not pull back, this would have been more than 35%. But because we had this pullback, right, the contracts then got eaten up. Options, every minute counts against you if it's not going in your direction. So with the pullback, the contracts came back down and then we start pushing back up. The push back up lead me to get back into a 30%, 35% profit up here. So that's where I scaled out and I completed my trade right up here at the top. Once I saw this candle right here, and if you notice, the reason why I closed out, because this right here was, there's a reason why I closed out right there too. Yeah, that was the last of the 15-minute candle, the 1 hour candle, right? So that ended as far as the 1 hour candle ended right here, and then the new 1 hour candle was starting. So I already know that because the new 1 hour candle was starting, we're gonna have a pullback, and that pullback could come all the way down, which it did, and then it would have killed the contract. So that's why a lot of times you have to sell in the momentum while the price is going up, instead of being greedy and say, hey, target is up here, so I'm going to wait for target to hit. By the time target get up here, the contracts probably would have been like 10-15% because of all this drawdown right here. So you have to be careful with that. So that was the first trade that we took as far as Google. We also jumped in Meta, right? And with Meta, I talked about Meta, but we were in both of them at the same time. We actually got in Meta right close to the same time as Google, right? So saw Meta up here. I was actually looking for a reversal to the upside on Meta. Okay. Now I'm bearish on Meta on the day chart. Originally, I was looking at on the day chart for puts because I want that reversal to the downside. Okay. So I was looking for puts originally to the downside. But then when we had that first 15 minute looks very bullish because what happened? It dropped, came back up, created this hammer right up here. So I was looking for the break of the candle, a break of this candle, and I was looking for calls. However, what I told the group was when this candle happened, it had a gap up, and a lot of people would have went in the trade because they say, oh, I'm gonna do a call. But what you have to realize is when you're trading if you have these mini gap ups, if you notice where this candle ended and when this candle started, there was a gap up. And that, even though it's a small gap, gaps have to get filled. These small gaps have to get filled, especially if it's during the day. If it's a gap like overnight, then that gap don't have to get filled right away. But gaps during the day have to get filled on that candle, especially if it's a 15-minute candle. Most of the times those will get filled. Okay. So in a sense, I saw that gap up and I told the group, I'm like, no, I'm not taking it. We need to see this come down, test the 200, bounce off the 200, and then break. That's when I'll take the call. We popped up, we never broke, and then we came right back down, right? And we came all the way down. And I'm like, all right, I'm looking for the break of the day. This dotted line was the break of the day. So that's when I'm like, all right, I'm going to take it on the break of the day, which is my original trade, right? That was my original trade. Now, could I have got it from up here? Yes. But I wanted to wait. I told everyone I'm waiting for confirmation. Normally, I would trade it if it break the 15 right here. But when it broke the 15, we had like a minute and 30 seconds left. And I said, I'm not taking the trade because for the simple fact that with a minute and 30 seconds, this is an extended 15-minute candle. So with that, we can come here, break it a little bit and pop back up. I wasn't taking that chance. You have to be patient with trades. Okay. So we was patient enough. If we had gotten a lot earlier, I saw it where on the 5 minute, I could have gotten a lot earlier. But again, being patient is waiting for the 15 to break and waiting for the day to break. If I had looked at my 5 minute candle, I probably would have took it if it was based on a 5 minute candle because we close under that 200 and then we start flushing right here. So I would probably have take with this drop from right here to down here, that would have been good profit in itself. But I didn't take that trade. I waited on the confirmation of the 15-minute candle to actually break. And I was waiting for the day because it was so close at that point to the day candle being broken. So right here. So this is day low. We came right here. So because it was so close for the day to break, I did not do it. I waited for the day to break, right? So once the day, because this is a candle, once the day broke, that's when we got in the trade. Now we were able to take good profit on that as well, as you could see in the Discord. People got well over 20% on those as far as trades. Uh, Now I did got rid of my contract before time, but it's okay. Profit is profit, and you have to learn to take profit. Now my targets, as you could see, is right here, and they all hit right. The ultimate target on this break right here, the target would be the low of here, which it's like some cents off. The low of this candle is uh 709.70. This came down to 709.82. Okay. So we're 12 cents off. Whoop-de-doo. If I was wrong on that, right? But I told everyone this was where the target was ultimately. Now, if we break here, Meta is gonna go to shit. Okay. I'm not saying it's gonna fall to out of the sky, but it should fall out of the sky for a little bit. Okay. Now, one of the things we're looking at, the reason why I chose my targets is all based on looking left. Okay. So once we broke here, my first target was right here because we bounced off of right here and went right up, right back up. Right here, we bounced right off, went back up. Right here, we bounced right here, came and closed right here, and then gapped up all the way up here. So we know that these targets are going to have some kind of significance to them. And then over here, right, was some significance as well because we had the candle closed right here and we had some type of respect going on right here as far as support for this candle. So all within this range, I told them, hey, listen, we got to pay attention to these targets right here. Now I closed out. Let me make sure I do this. I closed out right when the candle start breaking down on the 1 hour, let's go to the 1 hour. I closed out on this candle, on this 1 hour candle, right? As far as the rest of my contracts versus right here, we closed out. Everybody closed out earlier. I kept runners on mine and then came down to right here. Okay. Now I didn't get all the way down here. I didn't get all the way down here. I actually come down and then close somewhere right in here. Okay. Now I was pissed off because I know that at the end of the day, I know that we were going to start falling again. Okay. So, especially because this 200, this is my 200 MA, and we haven't touched that MA under 1 hour in like 300 bars, I believe. Let me double check that for you guys. So this is the 1 hour chart, and Meta haven't touched the 1 hour chart on the 200 MA, and look how long that's been. That's crazy. So we know that eventually this have to touch. But not only that, I'll go back to something else afterwards. That's why I said Meta can fall out the sky. We haven't touched that 200 MA in 354 bars. So what does that tell us? That tells us that we're going to touch it. At some point, we have to touch it. Okay. At some point, we have to touch it. So, um, however, it lines up with what I'm going to be talking about as far as potential for tomorrow. If you notice, we have a lot of gaps on Meta. Okay. So that's why I said Meta can fall back down to this from the sky, because right down here, we have those gaps to fill. And I talk about that in previous videos. Okay. So you guys could go watch those previous videos. These are all gaps that need to be filled. Okay. There's gaps right here. These are smaller gaps right there. But these are all gaps that need to be filled to the downside. So you're talking about Meta is right now at 710. You're talking about 633, six all the way down to 650. Now, if we do look at a higher time frame, so let's look at a monthly. I know my chart is getting crazy right here, so let's try to do this. So if we do look at a monthly, there's a couple things that's happening, right? We have a bearish divergence that's happening on the monthly, but again, the bearish divergence won't confirm until this monthly ends. And then if this monthly right now, if this current month break this previous month, then we confirmed a bearish divergence. Okay, we're confirmed a bearish divergence. However, right now it's a monthly candle. So this monthly candle can stay within this range. Then the next monthly candle have to come in and break this previous candle for it to confirm a bearish divergence. Now, bearish divergence is going to be where you have higher high, right? So you have higher highs, but lower highs on your indicator. Okay, so you have lower highs on your indicator. That's going to be bearish divergence. Now, the bearish divergence is already confirmed on the weekly. So on the weekly, we already have a bearish divergence, which is right here. So the bearish divergence is already confirmed on the weekly. So we should be coming down. Okay, so we have that bearish divergence right here. So we should be coming down on Meta. Now, Meta have not broken the weekly yet. It's 8 cents away. Today, I said in my group, Meta most likely will gap down tomorrow. If it does not gap down tomorrow, I will be shorting it on the break of tomorrow's low. I will be shorting it as soon as it break the low. So this is going to be a potential put for tomorrow. Now, with the targets for the puts, the ultimate target is going to be right down here. Right at 657. You have a couple areas right in here, right? So you have a couple areas right in here. So you have right here is going to be, of course, it's going to be a support because it's at 700. It's going to be where you have a psych level. So 700 for sure. If we break tomorrow, you know for sure that we're going to see 700 tomorrow. We might bounce off of 700 because there's a lot of people saying they missed out on Meta. They didn't get to buy it, and Meta go to 750. Oh my God, I need to buy it. It's at 700. Oh my God, it's cheap, right? But Meta is gonna come down more. Okay, Meta will come down more. With that, again, we have gaps to fill to the downside. So these gaps need to get filled. Okay. Now I'm not saying these gaps have to get filled right away, but you're talking about on a higher time frame, this will come down at some point. Okay. Now Meta is a good stock to have. Don't get me wrong. It's something that you could buy and then you keep on buying and you average in regardless. Meta is not gonna go anywhere. Plus, Meta is $1,000 stock and beyond. So to accumulate this stock is not something that's bad or nothing. Just make sure that you dollar cost average. You just keep on buying the stock. That's basically it, right? But for tomorrow, definitely I'm looking for puts on Meta for tomorrow. Um, with this happening right here, but the thing is, we might gap down. If we gap down to 700, I'm not trading Meta. I don't trade gaps. I don't do gaps. That's just period. I don't chase. Okay. I would like for Meta to do something where we are already extended on the day. And because we're extended on a day, with PPI happening tomorrow, that's news tomorrow. So if the numbers are bad, then we already know that we're going to gap down. Okay. But if the numbers are decent, we might have that gap up like CPI today. So we might have that gap up, which I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for the gap up so we could gap up and then use right here. So use right here. Let me change that color to probably yellow. So use right here, which is yesterday's low, as resistance. So now it gap up, use here as resistance, reject right here, and come right back down, break, and then I'll take it down. Okay. So now you have the first gap that needs to be filled, that first gap that needs to be filled, which we're going to test. Where's my box? Is right here. So you have this gap right here. Okay. So that's why I said 700. We're going to come down to 700. We might see 702 and a bounce off of 702 because that's the top of the gap. This is the bottom of the gap. Okay. So we might see something to where we come down here, we bounce, but we're going to come in here and eat that gap. Okay. And close that first gap. So that's what I'm looking at as far as potential for tomorrow. We have a great setup on that. So yeah, guys, if you like what you're hearing, if you like what I just went over with you, please go ahead and give me a like. Please go ahead, let me know what your take on it is, and drop in the comments as well. Right? Did I have anything else? Oh, one more thing that I have on here, give you an extra one, is Apple. Okay, so Apple is very bearish. I know people might say, "Oh my God, Apple is bullish." Apple already hit target, I believe. Apple did something to where, all right. So Apple was bullish on the monthly because the simple fact that we broke this double candle, this double inside bar. So we know that we were gonna go up. Target on Apple to the upside was right here and right here. Okay, that's to the upside. However, because we hit VWAP and we reject VWAP, you have to look at the higher time frame. The higher time frame on the 3-month is right up here, and the 3-month is very bearish. Okay, so the 3-month is bearish. The 3-month have the divergence already happened on the 3-month because you have that bearish divergence. So you could say the divergence played out. We had a lot of support down here. Okay, so we had a lot of support down here. For Apple to come all the way back down here, there gotta be some real shit going on in the world. I'm like probably some World War III or something going on. It's like some serious shit probably have to happen, right? But can we come down? We could come down slow. Okay, it's gonna take some type of event for this to happen fast, but we can come down. We could play around in here. There's a lot of support level right in here as well, so we could bounce around in that area. Okay, but as far as Like for a weekly standpoint, or from a weekly standpoint, we're looking bearish on a weekly standpoint. Now, if we break this week low right here, which I already have my alert in, Apple is going to come down. Apple target at that point is going to be 201, followed by 200. Those are going to be the targets for Apple if Apple breaks down here and come down. Okay. So that's my next one that I wanted to throw out and give you guys as far as what I'm seeing as far as happening tomorrow. If we have that happening tomorrow, again, guys, you could trade the inverse of the market. If the market is falling, always look at SQQQ is one of them that you could look at. And SQQQ right now has a potential of a lot of upside. But we already know how that shit is. Like it could look like it got upside and then all of a sudden the market just keep running. And then at that point, they just keep on adding more to this. If you notice, this value went down so much that they added more to it because they're like, yo, we can't let this go to zero, right? I think it was I think it went down to like 8 or something like that. And then they did a split, right? They did a reverse split on it. And then when they did the reverse split, they increased the price, right? So yeah, they did a 5-to-1 split, reverse split. So they increased the price. So now when they increase the price, and you have to pay attention to those, when they increase the price, you might say, all right, they're looking to probably bring the market down more, which that was a sign. Once they increase the price right here, they increased the price and then market started to come down, went up for a little bit. That's when the market kind of did a quick crash. And then if you notice, we are all the way back down again. All right. So just pay attention to this. We're in a decent zone as far as buy area. But I'll say if this breaks the low, then we don't know how low this can go. We don't know. Like right now, the market sentimental is greedy. So you want to pay attention to that as well. When it's greedy, and there's greed, that means that the market at some point is going to pull back. So play safe. Make sure you're doing your due diligence. Even when I'm telling you guys this, still do your own due diligence. Still look into certain things. When you're taking your trades, make sure that you have a trading plan and make sure that your trades line up with your confirmations before you jump into those trades. If you don't know how to trade and you want to learn how to trade, jump into my Discord. My Discord is Married to the Markets. We trade live every day. Apart from that, guys, again, thank you so much for spending this time with me. Until tomorrow, I'll see y'all again.